Hello and welcome. I'm your host, William Liu. I'm joined by co-host Alex Wong. This is the Hello and Welcome podcast presented to you by Betway. Thanks to all our sponsors, Betway especially. What's going on, Alex, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? You're not going to tell people to make sure you subscribe to Hello and Welcome?
People know that by now, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Rolling real cocky. Yeah, we had a wonderful weekend, Will. A little tiff that, we'll get to after.
Okay.
Big poker win. I know you're feeling good. We're here on Geary Ave. Shouts to Division 88.
Shouts to Division 88, man.
Responsible for our show music.
Yep.
Giving us this space. So, last week, Will, we did 10 reasons to get excited about the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of feedback from listeners being like, how did you come up with 10? So that was very impressive.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's because the season's coming around and I get excited for every season regardless. But I am kind of looking into it, like preparing for some future content pieces, looking at just the Raptors and just assessing it for a while because we haven't seen them play since basically February, like some of the main guys. We haven't seen Scotty, for example, play since February. So the excitement level is naturally going to die down after like 8 months. But watching them play again, I'm like, you know what? If they can sort themselves out as a team, they do have individual talent. Like there's been lots of Raptor seasons that have been a lot worse than this. So I don't know. I'm genuinely excited to see like how these guys are because we haven't seen most of them since like February or even March in the cases of like Quickly and RJ. So
yeah, I like that. But today, because we're about 40 days from the start of the regular season,
there's still another 40 days.
Yeah, 40 days. So figure we would catch up on the rest of the NBA a little bit.
Okay.
So I wanted to present to you my way too early NBA rankings.
All right.
So power rankings, I've sorted the 30 teams into tiers using my favorite tool, Tier Maker.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we can chat about it, catch up on these 30 teams. Are you ready for these tiers from me?
Is there a theme to these tiers? Because I feel like this is a very general, type of content.
There is a theme.
What makes it unique?
Yeah, well, what makes it unique is that I'm on the show, but also, we've talked about going to Scotland next year.
Yeah.
To watch our favorite band, Oasis.
Right.
So I've got these tiers. Each tier is a song from Oasis.
All right.
Okay, you ready for this?
Well, this is why I'm dressed like Liam Gallagher today. So
That's right. So first tier, there's only one team here at the top of the list, unfortunately.
Okay.
And this tier is called Live Forever.
Nice.
Because if this team wins another championship, this core group is going to live forever in the memories of their fans.
Okay.
Is that good enough? No? Okay. Yeah, I only took 2 minutes on that this weekend.
Not terrible, but
busy playing poker at Ennis. Live forever, the championship favorite. Have to go with the defending champs, your favorite, the Boston Celtics. Are you cool with the Boston Celtics leading as in their own tier as the favorite?
I don't think there's any doubt that they deserve their own tier. They're obviously reigning champions. They brought everyone back. Everyone's still in their prime. Like it's as clear cut as like it can be. There's not a lot of movement in the league that would necessarily threaten the top of the league. Like the only major thing that happened in the East is Philadelphia getting Paul George, which
Mikal Bridges to the Knicks.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
we can talk about those two teams later. Though.
Okay,
Let's
we'll
talk about those two later.
But for me, like the Celtics are clearly still up top. The thing that bothers me is attaching Live Forever, something I hold so dearly, to the Boston Celtics, which is something
you can feel free to propose revised tier names if you would like.
No, it's fine. Like I like the tiers. It's just I don't like that the Celtics are atop the league. But I don't know. Like, do you see another team like threatening the Celtics right now?
No, but my question with the Celtics is, so the big thing for them coming into this season is Kristaps Porzingis is going to be out until at least the All-Star break.
Does that matter?
I mean, it might. But my bigger question is, I want to get into it with you, is there's been no repeat champion since the Warriors won in 2017, 2018 with Kevin Durant because they cheated the system. So I want to go through the defending champs since and think about what potential paths could potentially derail the Celtics from a repeat.
I like this idea.
Okay,
let's tear down the Celtics.
So 2019 Warriors did not happen. They could not three-peat because of KD's injury in the finals.
KD's injury in the finals. Also, the Raptors were amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to go through the debate of if the Warriors would have won if KD was hurt. So.
I mean, they were down 3-1 already. So
yeah. So an injury, I mean, I guess the biggest injuries, obviously Tatum, Brown, would be the biggest factor in this case for the Celtics.
Issue is, like, they've been super healthy. Like, they haven't even missed time with any significant injuries.
Yeah.
So, like, it's hard to even say that. Plus, I think the Celtics have done a good job of, like, managing their minutes, too. So, yeah, I just don't really... I mean, like, I guess you can say, like, something can always happen, but it's hard to bank on that when it's never happened.
2020, the Raptors. Pandemic. So let's hope a pandemic doesn't happen this season.
I thought it was Kawhi leaving, but yeah, the pandemic. Yeah,
COVID cases are going up, I believe, right now. And also Kawhi left. So that doesn't impact the Celtics because they're bringing their whole core group back.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're good.
Yeah.
21 Lakers.
Kawhi, why'd you leave, bro?
LeBron injury. He missed 26 out of the last 30 games with a sprained ankle. And that kind of bumped them down to the 7th seed.
Right.
So potentially, like you mentioned, like the Porzingis thing probably won't impact them that much in the regular season where they're going to be like, I don't know, like fighting for a play-in spot or something like that. But that's one potential is if they don't get the number 1 seed, they don't have a clear path because the Lakers end up being the 7th seed and they lost to the Suns in the first round.
Right.
But you don't see any avenue that the Celtics... I mean, setting injuries aside because you can never predict that.
Yeah.
There's really no indication that the Celtics are going to take a step back as like a dominant regular season team.
No, I don't really see it. I think again,
man, the Celtics are foolproof.
No, I mean they're young, they're deep enough.
Yeah,
they got a lot of good role players. They also play the correct style that would really win a lot in today's NBA, which is like you shoot 40 to 50 threes with some pretty good shooters, and they do have that. They space out 5 out, and they switch a ton. Like, you know, I think they'll be okay on this front. So that series though, that one I always remember that season from LeBron posting up. And Andre Drummond, like, copying the post-up.
Yes, doing the little lean back.
Yeah.
Great series.
No terror squad on that one.
Next, 2022 Bucks. Chris Middleton injury hurt them because they were without Middleton in the playoffs when they played the Celtics.
They lost in the first round.
No, they lost to... This was when they lost to the Celtics in the second round. They came back as champions.
Yes.
And then,
Tatum actually, that was Tatum's peak of his career.
And then Tatum had his monster game in Game 6.
Yep.
And then Grant Williams hit a bunch of threes in Game 7 because Budenholzer left him open.
This
was the last time he wasn't annoying.
7 of 18 from 3. That's like me at the Tuesday run.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the path for the Celtics to repeat, like that could be one of those things. Like you get into a series with the Sixers, you get into a series with the Knicks.
Well,
like potentially could get to that point, but again, it's really hard to see a path where the Celtics are not getting to the finals.
That's the closest one for me. That's the closest one. Like untimely injury plus like, you know, you run into a team with a legitimate superstar. That's the one thing with the Celtics I would say is like you're not guaranteed to have the best player in the series, which does leave them slightly vulnerable. The issue is they're very well designed to shut down whoever is the top player in the opposing series.
Yeah. Okay, so 23 Warriors. They open with the Draymond Jordan Poole situation.
Okay, yeah. Grand opening, grand closing.
Could you see Jaylen Brown angry off being left off Team USA, punching Derek White during training camp?
Derek White, the sweetest.
He's tired of looking at his bald dome.
You gave him a barber slap? Is that what you're telling me?
Is there any potential there of an internal drama?
I like it. I think Jaylen Brown's definitely like, you know, he's definitely out for something. He's out for his respect.
Yeah,
you know
redeem team, man. I'm telling you. Tatum and Brown were both left off Team USA.
Okay.
And this actually might work in their favor.
Do you get a sense that they're super close?
I feel like they're super close.
Like, are they work friends or real friends?
I think they're work friends. Okay. I think it's a work friends, but like they've had so much success together as work friends that you can't help but be close. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess what we're hoping for is like it's like a Liam and Noel situation.
But you've never seen
grate on each other eventually.
You've never seen Tatum and Brown really like have any like conflict with each other. It's always been really manufactured.
But you also don't see them like moving together.
No, of course.
You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Yeah.
And the other thing that hurt the Warriors that season was they had players regress, like Clay regress.
Yeah.
Andrew
Poole.
Wiggins.
Yeah.
Like
Poole
really
was a shell of
regressed.
himself.
So, do you see any players from the Celtics where that could potentially happen?
Regressing. I mean, Al Horford's kind of old.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're not asking
Weak
for a
spot.
huge role from him.
Kristaps had a really good season.
Yeah.
He's injured for a lot of it.
I mean,
So
Drew
there's
Holiday
that
is still
aspect.
playing really well.
Yeah, Holiday, I think he's just figured himself out. White is kind of in the right situation. I guess they don't have necessarily like a lot of young guys to sort of push through.
Right.
It's still Peyton Pritchard. It's still Hauser.
Yeah.
They are still a little bit thin on the front court. Like, it feels like maybe not necessarily the Bucks, but like a Giannis type of player, like an Embiid type of player could really like physically have their way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
All right, Celtics still remain foolproof.
Yeah, live forever for the Celtics. God, that's horrible.
24 Nuggets last year. Kind of not messed around during the regular season, but you know there was a lot of good teams in the West. They didn't get the 1 seed. Maybe hurt them a little bit because they were pushing really hard in the regular season. And the other big thing for them is like there just wasn't a lot of depth on that team.
Nuggets.
So those were the key factors.
Yeah, why did the Nuggets fall so short last year? I actually don't fully understand it.
I mean, they just didn't have a really good, like, they didn't have a deep team, right? Like, what was the rotation that they're going with? And Jamal was struggling in the playoffs.
Jamal was struggling outside of hitting 2-game winners on the Lakers.
And Minnesota felt like a bad matchup for them.
MPJ completely disappeared.
Yeah. Minnesota's defense had them in hell for like a couple of those
Minnesota
games.
was a bad matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably the closest to what might happen to the Celtics.
Just kind of some things don't go right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like the Celtics.
I mean, they're clearly the favorite. They're the class of their own right now. It's unfortunate. But
Celtics are going to win the title. Next tier, have them as the definitely maybe tier.
Oh, yeah. Great album.
So they could win the title, but there might be some questions here. So for me, I only put 3 teams in here, and I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
3 teams from the West. I have the OKC Thunder. I have the Denver Nuggets there. And why every time I say Denver Nuggets, I want to say in the Mark Jackson voice.
I apologize for the Denver Nuggets.
And I got the Minnesota Timberwolves there.
Okay.
Excluded was the Dallas Mavericks. So
Really?
these are the 3 teams. We're going to talk about the Mavs. They're in the next tier.
Okay.
But these, for me, are on the next tier of teams. When I sit down and think about right now, I can totally see them lifting the Larry O.B. in June. These are the 3 teams that I have.
I think the issue with picking any West team is there's just such heavy competition, right? Like top 4 of the West is just really, really good. It's not something that's easy to break into, right? You got, you didn't even have the Mavs up there who won the West
we'll talk about the
year. But those 3 teams are all awesome. I think OKC is probably the closest team to sort of buffing up what they have because they have obviously added Caruso, they added Hartenstein. I think those are the 2 issues that they had in terms of just like Josh Giddey was like not very playable in the playoffs, and I think Caruso is going to be, he's not going to come in and splash a ton of threes, but he's turned himself into a good 3-point shooter. But also he's like an amazing defender. It really fuels their transition game as well because that's a lot of what OKC is really good at. And then the other weakness that they had is they just didn't have like a big center who can match up. And I think Hartenstein is like exactly the type of player who you don't need to disrupt anything that they're doing. He's also a really good passer as well. The one thing with OKC you worry about to some degree is who's their secondary scorer. Because obviously Shea's going to be Shea, and he's going to be great. We've seen that with Team Canada as well. He's kind of like impervious to pressure, right? Even when Canada lost in the Olympics, it wasn't Shea's fault. It was sort of like, again, who was the secondary scorer. But yeah, I mean, they're really banking on Jalen Williams to sort of like take that opportunity. He could probably do it.
Even Chet too, right? Like
Chet,
last year was Chet's like what, rookie season, right? Basically,
that was Chet's rookie season, and I think Chet can be really good. But I think over the course of the season, he's lost his 3. It's actually interesting. I was listening to him talk. I think he went on Paul George's podcast P, and he actually asked Paul George like, what kind of workouts do you do to like maintain your leg strength? Because he, in his own admission, over the course of the regular season, Chet actually got tired in his legs and his shot became super flat, and that's why his 3 kind of dropped off.
Yeah, they talking leg strength on podcast P.
Yeah, it's also
subscribe.
It's very funny to look at because his leg kind of looks like shredded chicken. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a really thin leg.
You're seeing all the bones, man.
Yeah, for real. They look like chicken feet. The way
chalet quarter chicken meal over here.
But I think with Chet, like, yeah, I mean, I do wonder if you take him away from being the 5, does he have enough skill to dominate as a 4? You know what I mean? Like it's not the exact same as Mobley, but in a way, it kind of gives me like when Mobley plays the 4 and then there's a 5 beside him, like he's just not going to be as involved offensively.
Yeah.
Right, so it is easier offensively to play the 5, I would say. Against other centers.
My question for you, like based on this tier, and you can feel free to throw another Western Conference team in here.
I don't know if Minnesota should be this high, by the way.
Really, eh? Because like, man, I really like what Minnesota like. Obviously, made their little playoff run.
Yep.
I think Edwards is now up there as like kind of that guy.
Okay, I think Edwards has lots of moments where he's that guy, but is he that guy consistently over the whole playoff series?
I'm expecting, I'm expecting a little Olympics leap from him, like coming off the experience from the playoffs. Okay. From this, I'm betting really high on Ant.
My issue with Minnesota is, again, who's the secondary scorer? It's kind of Cat, which
I mean,
living and dying by Cat is whatever.
Cat wasn't terrible.
No, he was good
last year.
He was super vital.
He was really good in the postseason run. I mean, he still had some Cat games, but
there's like the Cat games that I
Cat games where he's just got 4 fouls in the first half.
Yeah, then there's Gobert, which obviously he's a very, very effective player.
Sure.
But we'll see with him.
I just think they have a really
Conley's also kind of old.
Yeah,
they don't really have a backup point guard.
It's Rob Dillingham now, bro.
You can't throw a 5'9" guy into a playoff series, man.
I'm betting on Ant high on this. I think Minnesota is gonna build on last season.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of industry.
Okay.
Best show on HBO right now.
No spoilers. I'm only 3 episodes in. Yeah.
Oh, for the whole show?
I just started. Yeah. I just started. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in this case, I would short Minnesota for sure.
Oh, okay. You're shorting.
Minnesota. Yeah.
This guy's learning finance terms from what's that guy's name? Ken Long. Ken Long.
That's the funniest thing about industry.
I always have to not call him Ken Jeong because those are two different actors.
I always gotta not have to call him Juntao.
Right. I might want a Pure Point Co hoodie for my birthday then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, the funniest thing about that show is the whole time you're watching him, you're like, yo, that's the guy who abducted Soo Young, man.
Spoiler for the very first episode of the show.
Industry came out 5 years ago.
I tried watching it when it came out.
Yeah.
And when that homie died at his desk because he was working too hard, that hit me too hard because the work culture and the way these guys talk and they approach work reminded me way too much of when I used to work at Ernst & Young.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it actually was a little bit too close to home.
Okay.
That I was like, I don't actually want to watch this.
Oh, no wonder you left that, man.
No, but now there's a lot of buzz about the show. So
season 3, by the way, is excellent. If you're not caught up, you should go try to catch up. Season 3 alone is worth it. First 4 episodes are elite. But yeah, wipe yourself off. You're bleeding.
What?
No, this is the same actor as the guy who did Juntao.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that.
Part.
I do keep forgetting that. Okay, so you're not as big a believer in Minnesota.
I just don't. I don't like their depth, man. I don't like their depth.
Okay, we can talk. Okay, let's see if we want to bump them down later. Denver. I know there's been a lot of talk.
Denver, I'll keep there.
Shouts to Jamal Murray signing a 4-year max extension.
Yeah, were you surprised about
this weekend? Not really, because I feel like this is the team that they have around Jokic.
Okay.
What were they really going to do? Move on from Jamal? What's plan B?
I'm happy that they resolved it because you don't want to go into the season with this huge question mark hanging over.
Did you think they were going to try to get him to sign for a little less?
I mean, did you watch the Olympics?
Yeah, but I think there's been a lot of talk that he's been dealing with some injuries and things like that.
But he's been dealing with injuries for the last
But you're talking about you're paying a guy who's won a championship for you too, though, right? Okay. You have to base it on the whole track record.
I agree. I agree. There wasn't a better move. That's the thing when people question deals in the vacuum is what's the alternative?
Yeah, and my other thing too is there
was no better alternative.
I know you've talked about this because you're an insider, and Zach Lowe mentioned this recently too about just this rift that's happening between Mike Malone and the front office.
By the way, to give proper accreditation on this, not to say that Zach wouldn't because he's also friends with David Thorpe, but I heard David Thorpe say that 2023.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that too in terms of Calvin Booth, the GM, seems to be wanting to push in these young players, wanting them to get minutes. Mm-hmm. And Malone's very dead set of I just want to play my vets and guys who can win, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what's the correct, who's right in this case. Because if you are trying to make an extended championship run, you do need to refresh the roster with these younger guys. And you're not going to be able to have a sustained run if you don't give those guys playing time.
Well, hold on. I mean, refresh the roster with younger guys. I agree to some degree. You can never necessarily argue against that.
Sure.
But I think after you win the title, you should move how the Celtics moved, right?
Yeah.
Celtics win the title. They're okay, you know what? Jason Tatum, here's your big contract. Jaylen Brown, we just gave you one last year. Kristaps, here's an extension for you. Drew Holiday, here's an extension for you. Derek White, here's an extension for you.
You got to act like a big boy
Sam
and just pay everyone else.
Here's an extension for you. We're keeping this thing around because we're serious about it. And it's going to be very expensive. And we're probably going to sell the team, which probably factored in this a bit too. Mm-hmm. So that's a bit unique. But I think Denver kind of moved we won the title. Great. Now let's siphon out pieces.
Now let's play Moneyball.
Yeah.
And just be a little cheap on the edges.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't, it's like, you don't need Bruce Brown. Like, we're gonna have Christian Brown, and it's like now it's like you don't need KCP. You got Christian Brown. It's like, damn, bro. Like,
and now Bruce Brown's our problem.
Well, you can have Bruce Brown back. I mean, you know, like.
I mean, the KCP thing.
Like
I know,
even Westbrook coming in, like. Yeah. But I mean, look, you still have Jokic, man. Like that alone is not gonna.
This is my thing. They still have Jokic. They took a piece off one of the best starting fives, probably the best starting five in the league with KCP.
Well, them were Boston, yeah. But I think they actually matched up well with Boston.
Yeah, too. And now they're gonna try to obviously fill that spot. But yeah, like you said, it goes back to Jokic. Mm-hmm. I think the conversation has swung too much, especially with Jamal coming off his poor Olympics performance. Like this is still a championship contender, 55 plus win team if they're healthy to me. So
they got to add some depth over the course of the season though. But I mean, we got to look at some of the young guys because they played the Raptors in summer league. Strother had like 32 points in that game. Remember him?
A couple of those guys have to make it into the rotation.
He's got like a Jordan Poole kind of style game to me. Strother does, and then. Some of the other rookies. I mean, who knows? They've been drafting older college guys too, hoping that they can come in and step in. But that's the thing. It's like if you're gonna be serious about the championship, like you can't be addressing ifs. You know what I mean? Like
no, I'm completely with you. I think if they go through this era and only win that one championship, it'll be super disappointing
for sure.
Because this team was built to like make like a 5-6 year run.
You have Jokic in his prime.
Yeah,
like, you should do what you need to do.
Okay, so you're in on Denver.
I'm still in on Denver.
You're in on OKC. Minnesota, you think might be a little too high.
Definitely, maybe he's sick though. Man.
Yeah. Okay. Next tier is this is the some might say tier. So some might say these are contenders.
Oh, okay.
But they might need a few things to break right for them. So in the East, I've got 3 teams. I've got the Sixers, the Knicks, and the Bucks. So let's start there.
Okay.
So for me, these are teams
Where the hell are the Mavs, man?
Yo, don't worry. The Mavs are in this tier as well.
Okay. I just want to make sure you didn't forget about the Dallas
Let's talk
Mavericks.
about them separately.
Okay.
But Sixers obviously added Paul George and a bunch of other players. Like they made really good ads during this.
Yershon Yabusele.
Little Caleb Martin.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good one.
Yeah, for the cheap. They added a bunch of guys. Knicks obviously made the big Mikal Bridges move.
Sure.
Lost Isaiah Hartenstein. Brought back OG Anunoby.
Brought back Precious. Walking around Africa with 2 lions, I believe. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
That was hard.
That might be CGI, but that was cool.
And yeah, Jalen Brunson took the biggest pay cut in NBA history to sign an extension.
But he got named captain though. He's a new Derek. He's a new Derek Jeter, man.
Only captain I recognize is Joe Cash, man.
That's right, baby.
Stag on Friday.
Let's go. Tickets still available.
And then the Milwaukee Bucks. Bill.
Oh no! Oh, not again.
Last year, man, we just didn't get off to a good start. Now we got, I really like we had a Gary Trent. I've always liked Gary, man. You see the way he was playing next to Dame in Portland. We got DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright can be our Derek White.
Oh.
Taurean Prince. I love Prince. I love Prince, man. I think, Chris gonna be healthy. Brooks almost 40 years old, but that's cool, man. But like, we replenished the roster a little bit. You know what I'm saying, Bill? Yeah. I like our chances this year.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, how do we feel about the Bucks?
I mean, I feel like we should talk about the Bucks every episode if Doc Rivers is going to pop on every time, man. By the way, Doc Rivers is one of those guys where I'm always curious because Nick Batum and Tony Parker had these looks as well.
Okay.
Where it's like the beard and the stubble on the face.
Wait, you're talking about Doc right now?
Yeah, the stubble on the face is like the same length as the hair up top.
Oh, okay.
So I just wonder, do they take like the clipper and just do the whole, like they just circle their whole head?
We know the barber who cut Doc Rivers.
We
Doc Rivers
we
a cut
actually
at
do
All-Star
know
Weekend last year. So this question can actually be answered.
Yeah. I just want to know the technique. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, is it as simple as you just walk in and just rub your whole head?
Are the Milwaukee Bucks a legit contender coming into this season?
No.
Wow.
They're just old, man.
Really, eh?
They're just old.
But okay, we're gonna talk about the Mavs in a bit.
How many guys in the rotation for the Bucks are 30 and above?
Sure, they're a super old team. Gary's a good ad. I'm not saying Gary's just like. I'm not saying this is a complete game changer.
Yeah.
I think having DeLon Wright is good for them. That's another bench piece.
Another 30-year-old.
Right. Taurean Prince. I mean, that's fine. That was Darvin Ham's favorite.
Didn't they add Darvin back to the roster like as an assistant? Maybe?
Yeah, I think Darvin Ham's back.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, man. Big ad. Yeah. Him and Thanasis can do a pod. But they still have Giannis too, though. Are we writing off the fact that a Giannis-led team with maybe the proper pieces around
a bunch
him,
of injuries, yeah.
Like, are we writing them off just like that?
There's just too much, man. There's just too many old guys. Like I can't necessarily count on them. I think defensively, You know what? Low key defensive. I'm looking at Giannis a little sideways defensively.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think the reputation and the ability is there for him to be like game changing, but I don't see him changing every game defensively. Okay. In fact, I see a lot of games where he's just a little bit above positive defensively.
Yeah, you're calling him out on the defensive end. He should be more impactful.
I watched every Greece game, for example, in the Olympics. I wasn't impressed with his defense, man.
Okay.
And it looked like sometimes he's so exhausted by making so many drives, which as you would be, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, but it's not the same like Giannis as 3-4 years ago where he can drive 50 times a game, it feels like, take a bunch of contact, go to the foul line all the time, set up other guys, and then also play game-changing defense. Okay. I think his like energy is now a little bit more limited where he has to sort of spend either way. Okay. And if his defense isn't as strong as it needs to be, Brook's not going to carry everything, man. Like Brook Lopez in the drop obviously will be very effective, but especially the way the league has moved towards more and more 3-point shooting, like you can't be in a drop all the time.
All right. So do you have the Knicks and Sixers
above
the
Knicks
Bucks
and Sixers
right now?
above them? Yep.
Okay. So let's talk Knicks Sixers. Is this finally the year for the Sixers, bro? Soon to be moving to New Jersey. Oh, man. The New Jersey Sixers is so funny, man.
There's just something so funny about New Jersey. Like I don't know. Like this.
This got to be.
This doesn't hit, man.
This got to be the year for the Sixers, man.
Yeah, the Camden Sixers.
It's time, man. It's time. This is probably up there. I would argue this could potentially be the best Sixers team of the Joel Embiid era. Even better than the Jimmy Butler one.
Wait, hold on. Really?
Yeah. I mean, what, you don't like the Paul George? Oh, yeah, you've been hating on the Paul George edition.
No, but hold on, man. That Embiid...
Listen.
Embiid, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, JJ Redick. Bro, that gave me nightmares.
I know, but this team...
Thank God they didn't have a bench,
This team has all the talent. They've added a lot of depth. Yeah. They have a better coach this time around. Nick Nurse.
They got a better coach. Yeah, I mean, he is a better coach.
I mean, that counts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If they get to the conference finals, this is the best team. Like again, they just need to break through to that second, like past that second round.
Is Maxey better than what Jimmy Butler was at that time?
I mean, that remains to be seen. But I feel like the Sixers is the same conversation again. It's like when you get to the playoffs, is Embiid going to be carrying 4 different injuries, and like what's his health going to be? Like, it's the exact same question again this season.
I think
for me,
the good thing for me is that like the Sixers, as you mentioned, have added some tangential pieces, like a Drummond off the bench. Yeah. Right. Like Caleb Martin, for example. Yeah. They kept Kelly Oubre at a cheap cost. Like they actually have enough of a rotation.
I believe they have Eric Gordon too.
I mean, I don't know if that changes anything, but sure. How many times has Daryl Morey acquired Eric Gordon, man? Leave him alone.
Daryl Morey got 5 phone numbers, man. Yeah,
Daryl Morey and Eric Gordon are like J-Lo and Ben Affleck.
Yo, do you think Daryl Morey met Eric Gordon as well? Like when James Harden landed? But except Gordon was flying commercial. It's like, yo, Southwest 612 is landing at Terminal 8. But this is it's the same conversation, man.
Yeah, it's the same conversation, Riz. I think the thing to manage is Embiid's health in the regular season. Like, can you essentially, as Nick Nurse, if I'm Nick Nurse right now, I go to Embiid, I'm like, dude, is it about a championship or not? If it's not about a championship, just let me know. Because if it's about a championship, we are going to rest you on back-to-backs.
And
we are going to hold you out on certain matchups.
This is a season to do it.
And we're not going to play you 40 minutes for you to chase MVP.
Embiid should play like 50 games. And they have a good enough team that I don't think it's going to hurt them in the standings.
That's the thing. He's got to go to him like how Nick Nurse went to Kawhi and was like, here's a load management plan for you.
I think Embiid is bought in on that because like he knows exactly like this is the one thing that's missing from his resume. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter if you put up 70 against Embiid.
Embiid's career entirely differently. Because if Embiid retired today, what's his legacy?
Well, this Embiid thing is just like how people used to talk about like Dirk and a lot of these players before they won like the championship.
No, it's exactly how they...
If Embiid wins a single championship, we completely rewrite the whole history about him. And that's it. We never talk about any of this stuff again.
Yeah. So again, like that's the conversation that Embiid's got to swallow. Like he's got to swallow the fact that he's not going to win MVP this year. You manage him and then you go into the playoffs. And like, I think for him, if he just slimmed down just a little bit too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't think like an extra 30 pounds is helping Embiid right now.
Yeah. What's your biggest question about the Knicks right now heading into the season? Aside from the fact, is it going to be awkward when OG has to pick up every dinner bill because he makes more money than everyone?
I mean, you know what's funny with OG? He wears the same black zip-up hoodie everywhere.
Oh, yeah? You've been clocking him?
Yo, even the photo I took him
Fashion police.
Even I took him in Vegas. He just quit fashion entirely.
Yeah.
I think the awkward thing that they got to manage is Randall.
Yes.
Because they just had a huge party. They had all their biggest success, and Randall wasn't part of that. And now he's joining the party again.
I see Randall. Could you see Randall? I feel like he could be pretty effective as like a 6-man scorer off the bench.
Okay, that he'll never accept that, man.
You don't think so though? But what if you just? But like he gets to get the shots, like with the second unit, like he gets a featured role in those minutes.
I don't think you can. It
gets a little messy in that. It gets a little messy in that starting.
He's won All NBA. He's been All Star. Like it's too much. He's still in his prime. He just battled back from the injury. I think that's the part that they got to manage, right? Because someone like Dante DiVincenzo had so many huge moments. Someone like Josh Hart had so many huge moments. Those guys are both coming off the bench.
Yeah,
it's not the same. It's not the same role, right? The starting lineup is going to be Jalen Brunson. Yeah, it's going to be Mikal Bridges at 2, OG at 3, Randall at 4, and Mitchell Robinson at 5. That means a lot of your favorite playoff heroes, guys who have big moments, coming off the bench now. And I think more importantly for Randall, like I actually think they need a secondary score more than anything else. They ran out of offense. But yeah, I mean, how is he going to play within the context of that? He can be very good because he also was part of their success in the regular season for sure. But yeah, it's always mad awkward when you just had a huge run and now the guy comes back in.
Yeah. Who do you think was a bigger ad this offseason, Bridges or George? Sick question.
It's probably Paul George, but
yeah. Cause like,
but Bridges is really good, man.
I want to see how Bridges fits into that because obviously he was like pushed into that number 1 option role.
Yeah,
on the Nets, and now he's gonna slide back into kind of this like secondary role.
But we've seen him be a premium role player. That's what happened with Phoenix.
Do you think there's overlap with him and OG or no?
No, they're both purely additive role players. They play amazing defense and they shoot the 3 well. They don't really demand.
All right, so we like the Knicks.
I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks purely because of Jalen Brunson, man.
Okay.
Because like in a big moment, in a big moment, it's a close game. Do you trust Jalen Brunson to close the game for you, or do you trust Embiid, Maxey to close the game for you?
I want DiVincenzo.
Oh, you want big Ragu?
All right, finally the Dallas Mavericks, the
defending
Western Conference champs. I have them in this tier.
All right.
So I had them a tier below Denver, OKC, Minnesota. To me, those were the top 3 teams when I looked at the West. Listen, respects to their run last year. I know they had a really good second half. But I don't know. I mean, they were in a close series with OKC. That could have gone either way.
Yeah, I feel like you don't respect the Mavs, man. It's okay.
I don't respect the Mavs because, like,
interesting.
I do look at the Mavs as a really good team, but I refuse to fall in the pattern of like just putting them up there just because they made a finals run last year.
That's fair.
Because I'm looking at it of like, we talk about the West all the time. They added Klay Thompson. They're betting on like improvement from like Derek Lively. Kyrie, honestly, wasn't that good towards the end of the playoffs there.
He was hit or miss for sure.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, sure, like you're talking about just putting Klay, maybe just like in the corner, have him shoot threes, give him a new role. I look at that team and like, to me, I put them kind of like the Bucks in that I'm not that impressed by the supporting cast around their best player.
What's the tier for this again?
So I have them in the some might say category with the Knicks. With the Sixers and the Bucks. They're in this. These are the 4 teams. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the East first and then get to the Mavs.
I got you.
Yeah.
So the Mavs, I'm gonna dip into an analogy here.
Okay. Yikes.
The Mavs are like
Jerome timestamp might have to edit.
Like you've been in a Mavs are like you're in a really serious relationship with someone. You've seen both the really good and the really bad.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
in-season Luka and off-season Luka shape.
Yeah, so like sometimes you look around other things, you're like, well, that could be really sexy. You know what I mean? Like that could be something different. You start to think about like what life could be differently.
Yeah, you're like, what if I was with Derek Jones Jr.?
No, but realistically, when you look at it, like you actually have seen the Mavs actually get to that point. You see them do it.
Sure.
How many guys would you trust in a playoff series more than Luka? Right?
No,
you can look at Luka now and be like, okay, you know what? Defensively, he's not that strong. Obviously, like we have always known that. Or like
this is no disrespect to Luka. Okay, I love Luka.
You just don't trust the supporting. The supporting cast is good.
I just look at this team and I don't see them making a run like that again this season. I just think there are teams better than them in the West.
There's no guarantee that other teams are going to be making a better run, but they add Klay.
Sure. I'm not that big on that. I don't think that's going to move the needle that much for them.
But he's coming in to replace Derek Jones Jr.
Sure, but we've seen Klay on the decline. Just because you're saying you're putting him into a smaller role doesn't mean suddenly he's going to like... I just don't see it.
I think
you're saying he's going to be like a Ray Allen type now, like late career, like just play a role for them?
That's the hope. That's the hope, yeah. And I think for Klay, he's got to know that, like, look, you're no longer in the Warriors. You're no longer in the same comfort zone.
Sure.
How do you accept that as a man?
Yeah.
Like, how do you accept that as a competitor? You know what I mean? Like, you got to know that if what's most important is most important, then you accept this. And life can be amazing for you, man. You're playing with Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, I'm shorting the Mavs.
Player.
I'm shorting the Mavs to start the
Kyrie's
season.
an amazing player. You got Gafford, you got Lively, they got PJ Washington.
You got Gafford.
Yo, that's a really good. No, the Mavs are really good, man. I think that's the only thing is because once you see them all the way and then they fail against the Celtics. The thing is, you haven't seen OKC fail in the highest stage.
Sure.
You haven't seen Minnesota fail at the highest stage.
Sure.
So you don't focus on their warts.
No, that's fair.
Meanwhile, I've seen Dallas beat those two other teams.
I just don't see Dallas making a run like this again this season.
Fair enough. I think if Luka's healthy, I think they're best team in the West.
Oh damn. Okay, I like that.
They got a really good supporting cast.
I like that.
Hey, it's your host, Will, and I wanted to take this break to say a very, very special hello and welcome to the official bank of the podcast. Tangerine is joining us as a sponsor for the season, as a partner for the season, and I'm so excited about this. Of course, you already know about Tangerine. They are the official bank of the Toronto Raptors. They are a foundational partner of the WNBA and the NBA. And of course, now they're joining us on the Hello and Welcome podcast. And we are so excited because Tangerine is committed to basketball across the board, whether that's from grassroots all the way up to the pros. And where you will see a court, you will see Tangerine. And they are committed to growing the game of basketball in Canada. And that's something that really resonated strongly with us. And I know that will resonate strongly with our fans and our listeners because that's a real mission that they're behind and that we're behind as well. So what you need to know about Tangerine is that they're about forward banking. That means no unfair fees, no overly complicated products, and definitely no expensive brick and mortar branches. To learn more about Tangerine, you can go to tangerine.ca to find out more. But for now, what you need to know is that Tangerine, in addition to being the official bank of the Toronto Raptors and its fans, it's also the official bank of Hello and Welcome and its fans. So thank you so much, and we're looking forward to the season.
Next tier is the Don't Look Back in Anger tier. So these are kind of wild card / like swing teams for me. So that like, you know, you could have expectations for these teams, but if they don't end up meeting them, you don't need to look back in anger. Okay.
Why are you sitting sideways, man?
So yeah, I don't know.
Why don't you look back at the camera, dog?
No, I don't do the camera.
No, just tilt your body at least.
Six teams in this tier.
All right.
So in the West, I have the Memphis Grizzlies, the Phoenix Suns, and the New Orleans Pelicans. That's why I hate doing video. Yeah, those are the three teams.
All right, hit me the teams again.
The New Orleans Pelicans, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Phoenix Suns.
Don't look back in
Which team do you think could actually exceed expectations? I'm very high on the Grizzlies. That's not even like a popular thing because everybody's high on the Grizzlies.
Sure, yeah,
with John Morant coming back.
They're the sexy, grass is greener next door.
They're the super sexy pick. The Pelicans always have a little buzz because, like, yo, if they're healthy, if Zion can play.
No one watches the Pelicans that hard, man.
Phoenix, they got obviously KD and Booker. I actually forgot as I was prepping this. I was like, oh yeah, Bradley Beal is on that team too.
Bradley Beal become a mad forgettable player.
So that's their big three. So I'm thinking of one of these teams. These teams could potentially. I would not be shocked if you told me any of these teams, any of these three teams was like the number 2 seed in the West. I would not be shocked if all things break right. I can see them there. Things have to break right. Yeah, they have to have a really good season. But like, which one of these teams do you think is most likely to really exceed expectations and potentially be in that spot?
I think the team with the most upper mobility to me is it's probably Memphis.
Yeah, I'll go with Memphis
just because I think they're younger. I know they had a really terrible season last year, but like, you get a full season of Bane, you get a full season of Ja, you got a full season of Jaren Jackson. Like, they've been successful in the past. They got a good formula. I think they always had good supporting players on the cheap that like were able to contribute for them, like a Tyus Jones, for example, even like Melton, guys like that, even like Brandon Clark. Like, they will just always have these guys that like step up off the bench and they like keep them afloat. I'm not necessarily as excited about the young guys now outside of Zach Edey.
Yeah.
So that's a concern for me. Ja is also just like such a wild card. I'm kind of talking myself out of Memphis, but
Ja is the ultimate swing player of the season. Like if Ja is healthy, he's back.
Yeah,
that's a 50-win team. You never know,
team. Man. He might listen to a new song.
You do really never know.
Bring
chill, man. Chill.
Anyway, I think
no love for Phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix added Tyus Jones. Who else did they add on the cheap? They added someone else on the cheap.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean they only had like minimums to give away, which is the funniest part about.
Tyus Jones is a nice addition because then they try to go the whole season last year without a point guard.
They
basically
needed a point guard, and like as much as Devin Booker can play point at times, that's not the best way to use him.
Yeah,
and then Bradley Beal can play point at times, but it's also not the best way to use him. So they also have injury issues because they're older. KD,
they got Mike Budenholzer in there now.
Yeah, that's just the whole team. I mean, I think Bud is actually. You know what? Actually, the Bud factor might actually put me in terms of regular season success.
Yeah,
I think Bud is actually going to be really good for them.
Okay,
because Bud has had amazing regular season teams, man. Yeah. Milwaukee, Atlanta. So
yeah,
I think he might be able to do something. He has a drop center, which that's typically what he has done. And then you got sleeping on Phoenix a little bit, I guess. And then obviously, I don't see that team as that serious in the playoffs.
You got the DeJounte Murray addition.
Who can forget?
In New Orleans.
Well, I mean, they still got to resolve the Brandon Ingram
New
thing.
Orleans always has a 2-week stretch every season where they look like they could be the best team in the West.
New Orleans got a little sexy blogger vibe to them. You know what I mean? Sexy blogger pick because it's like, okay, so like they have a lot of guys who like if you're really into basketball.
Yeah, you really love your Herb Jones.
Bro, you don't even know about Trey Murphy the third, man.
Trey Murphy the third.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
Like Jose Alvarado. There's guys like that, but
they have a really good roster when you look at it on paper, man.
They got a really good roster, but I think Zion needs to like stay healthy all year and be the proven best player on that team.
But that's what I'm saying.
Everyone's got to play off of Zion.
All these three teams have question marks about like their top guys, like about the team.
That's my issue, by the way, with Zion. It's just like, number one, are you going to stay healthy the whole time? But like when you see the Pelicans, like is everyone playing off of him? And is he clear cut to me like the best player on their team night in, night out? And he moves like that. Like he moves like he is.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like obviously by talent, he's the most talented. Yeah. By production, he probably is the most productive.
Like he's got to take charge.
But when you watch a Pelicans game, like I'm just like, I need to know that like you're in it and you're engaged and you're serious every single night. I worry about that for a lot of young players, to be honest.
So 3 swing teams in the same tier in the East.
Okay.
I have the Pacers.
All right.
I have Orlando.
All right.
And I have Cleveland. Again, none of these teams would surprise me if they were like the number 2 seed in the East.
So the one thing I would say with the Pacers is like they have a really good formula. They're very young. They've had Pascal for the whole season now as compared to half the season last year.
Yep.
I also think that Halliburton, after getting the summer, like I guess he played Team USA, but like he's gonna get healthier than he was last year because he was hurt for like half the season after he played against the Celtics and he like did the splits basically.
He was a very different player in the second half of the season. Yeah,
I like that team in terms of just like their talent and their identity. They have a really, really clear cut identity. Some of these other teams, like Orlando, kind of has an identity formed around the defensive portion, but their offense is just such a struggle to watch.
Yeah,
and they haven't really changed that with just KCP being added.
Yeah.
Because I think what they need is like a lead point guard to like organize their offense and maybe even increase the pace of their offense rather than like a catch and shoot corner 3-point guy. Okay. That's like good. That's like additive, but it's not transformational.
Yeah.
It's like having OG rather than having Kyle Lowry. Like Kyle Lowry can like dictate the pace of your offense. Yeah. OG can finish for you. So I think Orlando needed to add that, and they haven't done that in a couple years now. And who's the other team? Cleveland.
So Cleveland, they extended Donovan Mitchell. They really brought back the whole team because there was a lot of talk.
They swapped out the coach. They got Kenny Atkinson in there now.
There was a lot of talk about maybe they would trade Darius Garland. Didn't end up doing that.
Right.
And, Evan Mobley, there's buzz about Evan Mobley every year, taking the leap. So, here we go.
By the way, I looked this up because I was doing one surprising skill for each Raptor kind of thing.
I thought you were just looking it up to hate on Mobley.
No, I was actually surprised to learn that I think Mobley led the league in dunks last year.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he's a run and dunk specialist.
Yeah, wow, nice. So he's Derek Lively plus.
He kind of is Derek Lively plus actually.
So Cleveland. Indiana,
Cleveland's the same team as before.
Orlando. It sounds like you think Indiana's got the most upside here to like.
I think Indiana's got the most upside, and they also made it to the conference finals. Although they did beat a bunch of injured teams.
Okay, we got 4 more tiers here.
Oh, let's go.
So next one is cigarettes and alcohol.
Ooh.
So a little fun, These might be fun for a little bit during the regular season type teams.
Okay, all right, hit me.
I got Houston.
Might be fun, yeah.
I got Sacramento.
Might be fun-ish. How many guards can they have?
I got the Warriors.
Yeah, they might be fun.
And the Lakers.
Yeah. That's a good tier.
These are teams that I do not look at as contenders.
Right.
But, I really like they could be hovering around the play-in. They could get into the top 6. Houston's got a little upside, but I feel like with Sacramento, with Golden State, and the Lakers, you kind of know who they are. Like Sacramento it's been that team
down.
Now,
yeah,
right?
They've kind of doubled down on their current identity.
Yeah, adding DeMar.
Mm-hmm. Is DeMar a difference maker at this point for you? He's productive. There's no way that he's going to average like probably 20 points.
I don't know if he's like swinging the fortunes of a team for you.
Right.
Yeah. Like I actually thought when he was on the Bulls, that was like it was working for them, especially when Lonzo was still healthy.
But they like the whole team kind of worked around DeMar.
Yes. No, I get it. Yeah, but Sacramento, like you said, it's kind of just they're embracing what their identity is. They're going to try to just outscore you. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be a great defensive team. The Warriors.
Do you think they could be a top 5 offensive team? Because that's their path to being in the playoffs.
I think it could be. I really like. I mean, Houston has a lot of interesting pieces too, right? Like they have a pretty interesting like young core.
Houston's got a young core, but I think their big ceiling is they're not elite on offense or defense.
Right. Feels like they need to make a move at some point. But I mean, they were right on the fringe of the play-in last season.
Right.
Could see them there again.
Sure.
Golden State, I mean, Clay went out. Who did they add? DeAnthony Melton. They added Chinese favorite Kyle Anderson.
Oh,
he's on the squad. Buddy Hield.
Oh.
Yeah, new Splash Brother came in.
Yes.
But I mean,
they've added some really strange players. I gotta say, man.
Yeah, but this is
like when you let 2K manage your offseason for you.
It's gonna be tough because like you're kind of watching this phase in Steph's career now, where he's still really good, but they're clearly just on the downturn.
Yeah.
So
that team has no.
But get ready to watch Warriors versus Lakers 8 times on national TV.
There's zero upside, man.
Yeah, and then with the Lakers,
by the way, is this Steph's? I guess he just got extended, but do you think Steph is gonna be talked about in terms of do we trade Steph to get him to a contender?
I think Steph will end his career in Golden State.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's got the rings, he's got the legacy.
That'd be kind of cool. I like that.
I actually don't think he has any desire to like go spend his last few years like chasing one more ring.
What if you go to LA? It's just a little bit south.
Yeah.
A little bit, maybe 5 hours, but whatever.
Yo, my conspiracy theory is behind the scenes, that's the debate. Like LeBron and Steph are trying to team up, but they're each trying to get the other person to go to their team.
Yeah.
But they can't agree on it. Yeah.
Nice.
Because you think LeBron, I don't think LeBron's trying to...
like, you leave your wife. He's like, no, you leave your wife.
Chill,
it's like one of those situations.
LeBron's not trying to go to Golden State because he's got Bronny now in LA.
He's got Bronny now.
He got Bronny now.
Okay, all right. Meanwhile, Steph has a kid every offseason, man.
And like...
Steph got like 18 kids.
No, but neither of them, it's like a staring contest. Like neither of them want to make one more move in their career.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like they're settled now.
They're just flirting with each other. It's fine.
But I would love to see them together. The two of them with Draymond.
That's what the Olympics are for.
That's what the clutch party's for.
Oh man, Draymond. Yeah, what's Draymond's role in all this, man?
No matter where Steph,
Draymond's like, don't forget about me.
No matter where Steph and LeBron go, Draymond will be the third.
No, Steph and LeBron making eyes at each other. Draymond's like, yo, you forgot about someone?
Oh my god. Anything to add about the Lakers? I mean, we kind of know what that team is.
Hell no, man. We know exactly what the Lakers are.
Yeah, is Bronny gonna get 20 points in a game this season?
Yes. Game 82. Game 82. Bronny's going to score 82. Or not 82. Score 82. Yes, he's going to score 20.
So next category, 2 teams. This tier is where did it all go wrong?
Can you open your body to the camera?
This tier is where did it all go wrong tier. And I got 2 teams in here. 2 enigmas I can't figure out. The Clippers and the Miami Heat.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where to put them. The Clippers obviously went on that run with Kawhi and PG, never made the finals. PG's gone now. They still have Harden. They have added a bunch of role players. It seems like they just want a bunch of defensive guys. They got like Chris Dunn in there. They're like, yo, Chris Dunn, guard 94 feet. We got Derek Jones Jr. at the rim.
Man. DJJ?
Yeah. So that roster is not that exciting.
That roster is tough.
And then you got Miami coming off, a finals run 2 years ago.
Sure.
Last year they regressed.
Yeah.
They still have that roster with Jimmy Butler, who recently discovered Mahjong in China. So we got to bring Jimmy to Hongqing.
There's places you can play Mahjong.
We're going to hit you up, Bernie Lee. And then they've got Bam. They got Tyler Hero.
Yeah, keep going.
Who else do they have?
Jovic.
They got Haywood Highsmith.
They got
Nikola Jovic. They got Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, they got
that's all I got. So, how do you feel about Miami? Because I'm never really sure where to put them. And I'm, we've talked about Heat culture. Shout out to Amy Audibert.
Don't Terry Rozier, man.
Yeah. Scary Terry.
Yeah.
But I'm just like tired of the Heat, man. Every year they're like, yo, we just got to make the playoffs. We'll be all right. And it's like, no, maybe you're just not that good of a team.
Miami's almost, it's like that guy at the poker table that's just like limping into each hand.
Why are you looking at me, man?
They limp into the playoffs every year. And they're like, I'm
just tired of it. I'm tired of the talk. Like, I know you made a couple finals runs, but like, maybe you're just not that good.
I think for me, like,
the East has moved on from them. Like, there's better teams now.
You're starting to hear the whispers. This is not like my inside information. I'm just being like, you're starting to hear the whispers that Jimmy Butler is like, maybe not long for like an extension.
It was reported that Jimmy might land in Brooklyn.
Just some Brooklyn talk, which is some random stuff.
Also, Jimmy's like 34, 35.
I mean, I'm not worried about that. Jimmy's like a demon, man. I feel like he's fueled by rage. So I feel like I think he's fine. But for me, like I think eventually that situation's got to just like pivot. Like they've been doing the same thing for like 5 years, man.
Well, what are you building towards? Because like if Jimmy's moving on, then I guess you have Bam. And nobody's that excited about Tyler Hero, I don't think. Then what else are you building around there?
Duncan Robinson's there. Like, they just had the same squad.
Yeah.
They finally got out of Kyle. They got Terry Rozier. I don't know. Like, I would never rule out Heat culture, but to me, they're just like, they're limping into every game, basically.
Yeah. And the Clippers, do we feel any upside with the Clippers this season?
No, man.
Okay. I just want to see.
Hot take: Clippers miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I don't even think that's hot, man.
That's not hot.
I think if you go through the West teams, like
lukewarm.
I don't think they're even up there. I just want to see James Harden pull out like 6 new moves this year, just out of boredom.
Oh, okay.
It's time to see that. What was that thing he was working on that one off season?
Oh, the one-legged sidestep. Yeah, that was terrible.
I love how he just goes to China every summer and just invents moves.
The funniest thing about James Harden is he's the happiest in China, man.
He really
I can't wait for James Harden to like play for the Beijing Ducks, man.
Oh, he's gonna be a legend there, man.
For sure, man.
You're gonna tear down Stephon Marbury's statue and build the Harden one.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
All right, 2 more.
Do it.
This next one is called the master plan. So rebuilding teams.
Oh, hell yeah.
But potentially on the way.
Master plan.
So I got 5 teams here for you. And I'm going to run through their core group too and see which one you're most excited about right now.
Okay.
So I've got Charlotte. Yikes. I've got Atlanta. Oh, brother. Raptors, Spurs, and the Jazz.
Obviously, the Spurs are the most exciting.
So let's start with the Spurs.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have Wemby.
They got Wemby.
20 years old. They drafted Stephon Castle.
Yep.
They got Brenham.
They got Brenham?
I don't know
what's his first name, bro? What's his first name?
Malachi.
Yeah, nice. How do you spell Malachi, though?
I don't know.
There's a K in there.
They got Keldon Johnson.
Yeah.
Devin Vassell.
Yeah.
Did I miss anybody?
Well, they brought in Chris Paul to be everyone's
They brought
monitor.
in Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes as principal and vice principal. They're gonna teach them how. They're gonna teach Wemby how to maintain his bird rights for 20 years. No, they're gonna be calling Wemby Birdman by the time he's done.
No, the funniest thing is they're gonna have pictures in the future of like people who are like, I guess 2060 version of Twitter. They'll be like pictures of Wemby and Chris Paul and be like, yo, he played with a guy who was born in the 80s.
Chris Paul is in his Patrick Ewing Sonics era.
He's been in there for like 4 years at least, man.
And by the way, my bad. They also added Malachi Flynn.
Flynn is there. They cornered the market on Malachi's?
The first Flynn to Wemby alley-oop is going to break the TL, bro.
It's not breaking anything, man.
Okay, so we're putting the Spurs at the top of this here, obviously with Wemby, like based on these teams.
Yeah, just Wemby alone, man. Okay. I just want to see what he does. Like, you could say anything about Wemby and I wouldn't rule it out.
Next up, these are not ranked. I'm just giving them to you. So the Jazz, they didn't trade.
One thing to be excited about the Jazz.
They didn't trade Larry Markkinen, so they got Markkinen.
Yeah.
He's 27.
I want to see what Keontae George does.
Yeah, they have Keontae George. They have your favorite Kyle Filipkowski, Cody Williams, Isaiah Collier.
Yeah, he's got a big head. Yeah,
I was going through the roster. That's about it in terms of like the young guys.
I mean, I've never been excited about the Utah Jazz.
I think it's time for the Jazz.
Like in my lifetime, I've never been like, oh, Mehmet Okur's over there.
Oh my God, Darren Williams. Darren Williams is in the conference finals.
AK-47 got a 5x5. I'm like,
Boozer.
Oh yeah, Boozer. Yeah, the least exciting power forward of all time.
Oh man, Boozer's scamming a blind owner and stiffing the Cavs and going to Utah.
Damn, bro, they got Kyle Korver over there. CJ Miles.
think rebuild fiend Danny Ainge is ready to get back into the lottery and draft high and all that.
There's nothing to be excited about for with the
we
Jazz.
might gotta bump the Jazz down actually.
The Jazz actually
they low key have been pretty good the last few years and then just fall apart at the end.
Here's my hot take with the Jazz. No team comes prepared to play the Jazz. Yeah. And they play in altitude. They're also the stopover team for every Eastern Conference on a long Western road trip. Play the Jazz last game.
Yeah.
And they get free wins off that.
Okay.
They got a crazy home court advantage.
So no respect to the Jazz organization.
I'm just telling you, every team goes to Utah and parties because they're not taking that team serious.
So we're not that excited about the Jazz group right now.
No.
They need to.
I mean, that's.
I might bump the Jazz to the next tier. Then.
Yeah, man. They got Derek Favors over there.
Okay.
Who else they got over there, man?
Another exciting team, the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
Trae Young, somehow still only 25.
Oh, sure.
Zachary Rissache, 19. Kobe Buffkin, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Dyson Daniels, 21.
Yeah.
Okongwu, 23.
Okay.
That's their young core right there. Not that exciting.
The one thing I'll say about Atlanta is you can get Trae Young signature sneakers at SVP for $40.
Okay. Sick. Based on your winnings, you can get a whole pack.
I'm not gonna. I didn't
NS
buy
poker
that.
game.
No,
am I facing the camera right now?
They got. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I guess I'm curious to see what it kind of looks like, but not really.
Okay, Raptors. Your Toronto Raptors.
I'm excited to see the Raptors.
Scotty Barnes, age 23.
Yes.
RJ Barrett, age 24.
I mean, we already did a top
IQ, age 25.
Okay.
Grady Dick, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Jacoby Walter, 20 years old. Assorted rookies, not listed.
Okay.
I feel like after Wemby, this is probably the most
Raptors,
exciting core in this group.
Raptors interests me because you got 3 guys who could probably average 20 this season.
Okay.
Would it shock you at all if RJ, IQ, Scotty all averaged 20 at the end of the year?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can go with that.
So that's not bad right there. I think for me the question is how much are veterans going to buy into a situation like this? Mm-hmm. You mean you think Jakob Poeltl's going to lay his life on the line for this, or Bruce Brown or Kelly Olynyk? For this team,
maybe Kelly. Yeah.
If they were in a playoff team, for sure, those guys would play all out. I think, but if you get those young guys to buy into that project, I think the biggest thing we've talked this on every episode. Yeah. Scotty's got to make that huge commitment. I'm the leader. Everyone's gonna follow after me. I'm gonna play hard every single game.
Yeah. By the way, interlude. We got an email from Gorjan, Gorjan. Do you think I'm pronouncing that correctly? From North Macedonia.
Oh, Gorjan.
Oh, yo, my bad.
Yeah, Gorjan Dragic.
So he was listening.
Just kidding.
He said, long-time listener of the podcast.
Okay.
Loser and listener of the last 2 iterations of the pod.
Salute to the loser subreddit, man. Not a lot of activity on there these days.
He was listening to the 10 reasons to be excited about the Raptors pod last week. And he said that Will's third reason was Scotty's case to make All-NBA. That's obviously not very likely. But
all right, Gorjan.
But statistically, what we can possibly root for is Scotty being top 3 in triple doubles amongst all players for this season. So he pulled up the triple doubles leaders from last season. Okay. Whoa, I was surprised by this.
I was gonna say, who knows who the third triple doubles leader is?
Do you know who finished first last year?
Who finished first in triple doubles?
And it was not Jokic.
It was not Jokic. Was it Luka?
I gotta fact check this. He says it's Domantas Sabonis.
Oh, Sabonis, yeah.
26.
Sabonis averaged 20, 13, 14 rebounds and 8 assists. So Sabonis is a good shout for that. Okay, are Jokic and Luka the next two?
Jokic and Luka are 2-3.
Okay.
And then so Sabonis at 26.
Yeah.
Jokic 25. Luka 21, and then it drops off. Giannis is 4th with 10. So basically, we're saying, can Scotty get to around 20 triple doubles this season? That's 1 in 4 games.
I think you would have the whole. He would match the franchise total in triple doubles if he got 20 this year.
But hey, okay, so actually, Gorjan said top 4 is possible. So he's
10.
saying maybe around 10.
No,
10 is doable.
I think if you look it up, I think the Raptors probably only have 20 triple doubles in his franchise.
So
history.
Scotty had
maybe
4.
Less.
So Scotty had 4 last season.
Yeah.
So he had 4.
Yeah.
So can he get to 10? I think
so.
Okay, so that is a new reason to be excited about the Raptors.
Let me pull up StatMuse real quick, man.
Okay, he's gonna pull up StatMuse, and meanwhile we're gonna wrap up this rebuilding tier. So the last core group for you are the Charlotte Hornets. Are you ready for the Charlotte Hornets core group, bro?
Let's hit it. Let's do it.
LaMelo Ball, 23.
The Toronto Raptors have 40 triple doubles all time.
Okay.
So I might have underestimated our whole 30-year history, but that's basically one a year.
Listen, Okay, last team in this group, Charlotte Hornets.
Yep.
LaMelo Ball, 23 years old.
Sure.
Shouldn't have a driver's license. Tejan Saloon.
Yo, why? You love Tejan Salon, man.
Tejan, yo, how did I mess that up both ways?
Tejan Salon, man.
That's where I get my hair cut. 19 years old. A man called Nick Smith Jr.
Nick Smith Jr., man. Come on, bro. We saw him in Summer League.
Brandon Miller, 21. Mark Williams, 22.
Okay.
And I guess they picked up Josh Green. So he's 23.
Cool.
So are you any excitement about this Hornets young group? Can they grow together?
Miller is probably the most. I mean, LaMelo's the best player.
Where is Miller and Ball really gonna take you, man?
Miller Ball?
Can you see Miller and LaMelo being in like a second round series against the Celtics at any point?
Can I ask you, because so I started watching basketball 2004, 2005, that range, right? So the last 20 years or so.
Sure.
20 years of watching the Eastern Conference. So the Raptors end up playing Charlotte quite a bit. They have never been a good team. Now, the Charlotte Hornets franchise has actually gotten a lot of wins off the Raptors. They're kind of our bogey team historically. Gerald Henderson Award, all that kind of stuff. But in 20 years of Charlotte Hornets history that I've watched, I have never seen a good team from them.
Oh, yeah. They've been terrible. I mean, the only one good team I remember from them, I think Mohawk Jeremy Lin was on that team.
Mohawk Jeremy Lin, Kemba Walker, Al Jefferson.
They made
Jerome.
They made the first round.
Dudes just be sitting around talking about Al Jefferson. They don't make him like Al anymore, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't really remember.
Yeah, the purple shirt guy going up against Dwayne Wade, and they lost that series. That was the first round.
Yeah, Michael. Why was I almost going to call him Michael Jackson? Michael Jordan slapping Malik Monk.
That's because he said tee on every jumper, man.
The Hornets hosting All-Star Weekend,
Sure, yeah.
And me sleeping in a motel with two fellow Yahoo employees.
Oh, brother.
That was good times.
Yeah.
The Hornets have not been relevant.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't, what's your memory? What's the best Hornets team that you've seen?
Best Hornets team was in the 90s, Larry Johnson, Muggsy Bogues, Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah.
They had Glenn Rice on there too.
Sure.
The Hornets were a super popular team in the 90s.
Were they?
I mean, Jerome could attest.
Was that like a 50-win team?
Oh, yeah. They were in the playoffs.
Okay,
they would play MJ, all of this stuff. And they had the cool jerseys, the ones that they brought back.
Sure.
So
okay.
Now they have Grant Williams.
Now they have Grant Williams. There you go.
By the way, I'm still upset at Grant Williams for crashing the Celtics championship celebration, man.
Oh, didn't he bring some of the Hornets?
Mark Williams. This is Derek White's biggest moment of his life. And he's got to dop up Mark Williams.
He's pouring champagne over his bald head. And he's like, yo, I know that ain't who I think it is. Is that Mark Williams?
Last tier, we can spend 1 minute on this.
Okay.
This is the half a world away tier. Yeah.
Yo, by the way, real talk. You got to watch Liam Gallagher, Half a World Away live. I think it was at Glastonbury or whatever, one of those big UK festivals. It's a transformational performance. As he would say, it's fucking mega.
Watch that. Watch Industry.
Yeah.
So these are 5 teams at the very bottom.
All right.
Got Joe Tsai's Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, yeah. There's no reason to watch Brooklyn.
Dwayne Casey's Detroit Pistons.
There's no reason to watch the Pistons.
Who did the Wizards draft? The Wizards.
Oh, there's no reason to watch the Wizards.
Portland,
you end up watching because they're usually the 10:30 game.
Sure.
So if you're there's nothing else to do, you might just throw Portland on by accident.
See if Shaedon Sharp hits his head on the rim on a dunk or something.
Right. Yeah.
And the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, there's no reason to watch
So
Chicago.
Those are the 5 teams.
Who's even on Chicago now? I saw a report that the Bulls are trying to mend the relationship with Zach LaVine. Yes, I'm okay, who cares?
The most untradeable contract in the league.
They're like, yo, bro.
He's going to get traded, though. Every player gets traded.
What's the mending the relationship? Yo, we're stuck together?
Yeah. So those are my 5 teams. I might got to bump the Jazz into this tier.
If you had to watch, I think the Jazz absolutely deserve to be in this tier.
Bad.
But if you had to watch one of these, if you had to be a beat writer for one of these teams, which beat would you cover?
I think I would go with Brooklyn.
Yeah?
Yeah. Live in New York.
Okay. That's actually a huge plus.
Build a relationship with Joe Tsai.
Sure, yeah, you're Chinese. He might sign you.
Yeah, and that's it. and the Brooklyn, they have Jackie Chan or Jackie Sweet.
Jackie Chan.
Sweet.
Yo, we said it.
We're the only pod that can just call him Jackie Chan.
That's right.
Jerome's
no one else is allowed to do that. No, you just set back, AAPI relations for a decade, man.
Asians.
Now, Howard Chen gonna ban you from the next event.
Oh,
man.
brother. No, shout out to Howie. So yeah, that's it, man. That's the tiers. I feel like the biggest gripes that you had was maybe swapping Dallas and Minnesota.
Yeah.
I was a little bit too high on Minnesota. I'm not giving enough credit to Dallas.
40 Minnesota for the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Become a Timberwolves hater.
Otherwise, I think you're pretty in agreement with me on this.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, there wasn't that much movement, right? Like,
sure.
Between seasons. There's, like, it was a very standard offseason, I would say.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think for me, like, I'm just looking forward to, I don't know, seeing basketball again. Like, hopefully meaningful basketball. I also wonder, for me, like, are they going to start with, because halfway through last season, they started changing the rules where you can play more defense. Right. Are they going to start the season like that? Or are they going to, like, I just don't want to see, like, 150 versus 150. Like, every time the Pacers and the Hawks played each other, it was like, over-under was like 310 points.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm not trying to open Betway and see 310. So.
All right. Yeah. So those were our way too early NBA tiers.
Man, I'm excited to see Oasis, though, man.
Yeah. And you were excited to see Oasis, gonna watch Industry, but something else everybody should watch is our friend Amar Walla debuted his film Shook.
Yes.
At TIFF.
Yep.
Shouts to Amar, Nicole, the fam, Elevation Pictures.
That's Elevation Pictures,
inviting us to the after party, drinking that Don Julio 1942.
Yo, what do you know about 1942, man?
Bieber sang that, on One Dance remix. Congrats to Kendrick Lamar on landing the Super Bowl halftime.
Does that have anything to do with Shook? What? What does that have to do with Shook, man?
Anyways, Shook. Will, man, tell people about Shook and what it's all about, bro.
Absolutely. I think so. What's really cool about a festival like TIFF, in particular, is that it's an opportunity for a lot of like local artists to be sort of put on in a big stage. Obviously, TIFF is known for, these red carpets where you get to see like, some of the biggest stars in the world. Like I'm seeing like, Lindsay Dunn's.
It's whoever I see on Lindsay Dunn's feed.
Yeah, Lindsay
she's
Dunn's
like interviewing Julianne Moore.
Yeah, she's like interviewing like Daisy Edgar or something, and Jacob Elordi, the abusive man from Insecure. Or not Insecure, from Euphoria. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Euphoria.
Never watched
he wouldn't
that.
be on Insecure.
Never watched that.
You didn't watch Euphoria?
No, it doesn't. It didn't seem like it was for me. Yeah.
It's not, but
okay. I only support Asian-funded films.
Fair enough. Shows, but I mean, I think for TIFF, like, it's a great opportunity to like actually showcase like the talent that we have here in Canada, and I think Amar obviously is one of many, but also like an exceptional director. He is really passionate about his work. This film is set in Scarborough. It tells a story that, especially if you are a resident of Toronto, especially if you're a resident of Scarborough, is like a very true to your experiences, especially in our age range, like 30 to 40, that range of like a lot of people have had this type of experience. You'll resonate a lot with it. So, I mean, it touches on some universal themes as well. That's obviously how films should be and are. But I just thought it was really beautiful, man. A lot of shots of the TTC as well on there. I think it's just like
couldn't relate. It was good. It was good seeing that stuff.
Yo, this guy. By the way. So there's one scene on there because, again, the guys, the main character lives in Scarborough. A lot of his friends are in Scarborough, so they got to come back and forth.
And the story's very autobiographical, pieces of it based on Amar's life. Right?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how much of that is just Amar's life and how much of that is also like a general fictitious experience.
So anyways, they stay out late.
They stay out late one time, and they got to catch the last train, which is usually around like 2 a.m. They missed the last Bloor train, and so they got to take the night bus. And so there's a great scene on there, and they showcase like what kind of goes on a night bus. After the movie, Alex comes to me, he's like, "Yo, I've never even taken that night bus," which is wild to me, bro. How have you lived in Toronto like 30 plus years? You've never taken the night bus? You never seen 300 on the bus numbers?
No Uber, Lyft, cab.
Bro, you know how much it is to lift your way back to Scarborough?
I know, because you still refuse to lift these days, man. Even when we're going 20 minutes,
I mean, that's what the scooter's for.
We were almost going to take the streetcar to the Elevation Pictures after party.
I mean, what's wrong with just hopping on the 510 for 3 stops, man?
I can tell you many things that's wrong with that.
Okay. But no, see, you've never taken the night bus for real?
No, man. I barely take the day bus. Yeah.
When's the last time you stopped on a TTC bus?
A TTC bus?
A bus, yeah.
I don't know, actually. I'll let you know the next time I do. Yeah.
Damn.
I'm not anti-streetcar. This is just like, different modes of transportation.
Hold on. So you definitely take the subway. Subway's fine for you.
I take the subway, yeah.
Subway's fine for you. Streetcar's fine for you?
Streetcar's fine if I'm in a pinch. Yeah.
In a pinch?
Well,
this guy's too bougie for the streetcar.
I'm not even bougie. I bike, man. If I can bike, I'd bike,
Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes I take the streetcar. Streetcars just take forever, man.
Nah.
They always be detouring on Dufferin and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to OVO. I'm not allowed there.
They're always, the streetcar always trying to bring it a Dufferin gate. I'm like,
I'm like, what's Dufferin gate, man? It sounds like a Naruto story arc, man. Like, which gate am I entering?
It's a stupid little golden arch, man.
Anyways, huge shouts to Amar. We've obviously
really fun film.
We've gotten to know Amar a little bit personally. I know you work with Amar.
Yep.
And it's just beautiful. Like even at the screening, at the Q&A after, just hearing him talk about the film. And something that really resonated with me, like I think he was talking about actually shooting some of these TTC scenes. And he was like, oh, some of the TTC people like maybe weren't that happy with how he portrayed
the night
like
bus?
the night bus and stuff.
I mean,
but then what he said was, you know what? The film wasn't for those, for them.
This was
like
all,
it didn't matter.
I mean, that's just sensitivity on TTC because what they portrayed in that scene is folks sleeping on that thing, which happens all the time.
Yeah, a little fight broke out.
Someone threw up, and then someone threw up. Those are the three most common things you'll see on the night bus.
I did that on the China trip.
No, hit us up with your favorite experiences in the blue buses at night.
Yeah, info@StephenLeBron.com.
Yeah, let us know your favorite night bus TTC
But the thing
stories.
I respect about Amar always, and I think it's why we've connected, is like he's always been very like he knows exactly what he wants to do with his storytelling.
Yeah,
with his films,
very purposeful.
And he all of us, we always talk about like representation and bringing our personal stories to a bigger platform. While keeping it authentic. Like Amar like doesn't just talk about that stuff. You see his work, especially in this film, and you see it. You know what I mean?
No, it's really well produced as well. Shouts to the whole production team, and I think it was very well acted as well. So, just really enjoyed it, man. You can catch Shook. I think it's still showing a couple more times.
I think it's gonna get a wider release too at some point. Yeah. So
right.
And
that's
maybe
Crave.
And maybe we'll do a Banter Pod Plus with Amar at some point.
Okay,
get him on here as well.
All right. I know you're a big fan of the show, so
yeah. So
his wife told us that he listens to it out loud in the house.
Yeah, shouts to Nicole in the car too, apparently.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Couple more of the things.
The only thing that film was missing was Double E.
Oh yeah.
But I guess he was too busy with I Used to Be Funny.
Shout out Ennis.
I looked up Ennis's IMDb so I could finally give him some new references. I Used to Be Funny out in theaters right now. Rachel Sennott as well. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, he did some stuff with Rachel Sennott. He got a Netflix series coming out with Coleman Domingo.
Ooh, yo, Coleman Domingo is a fantastic actor, man. By the way, if you haven't seen it already, Sing Sing is really good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of buzz.
I saw that last year.
Okay, what is this, man? You gonna give me your Letterboxd top 4 now?
Man, Lord of the Rings.
God damn, Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3, and Lord of the Rings Extended.
Yeah.
Lastly, too, just want to issue a quick listener apology. I think I recently had mentioned I had acquired my new Honda Civic from a listener.
And New is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
And
right?
I think she messaged me. I mispronounced her name. It's Suzanne, not Susan.
Oh, Suzanne.
Yeah, sorry. You and your husband invited me into your house. We hung out for coffee and everything, and I had this blunder. So
wow. The
car's doing well. My dad was bugging me for an oil change yesterday.
Okay.
And shouts to you.
What's the car again?
I think it's an 04 or 06 Honda Civic.
06
Suzanne,
Honda Civic.
Can you let me know?
I haven't seen the car yet, man. Does it have a CD player?
It does, yeah. There's really nothing to see.
Okay.
But thanks for the car. And lastly, shouts to Mr. Sexy, Kai.
Mr. Sexy.
Got to see Kai yesterday, and he's been bugging me to get so when we were on the Raptor show, we used to give out a chain, the Raptors chain.
Yeah. By the way, I think we should make like a hello and welcome chain, man. Just 3 chains for the 3 of us.
Okay, hit up. What's your plug? The jeweler.
Yeah, what's up?
Kalani
gang, come on, man.
Let's go.
I don't know if I had the money for that, man. I just only won a couple $100.
So it's
everybody
should follow Sexy Beast on IG. Promise you, it's no parental advisor or anything.
He's very normal.
It's just Raptors jerseys.
He has a lot of collections of old
Sexy with
memorabilia.
an 8. Sexy with an 8.
Stop saying sexy, man.
So
just call him Kai.
So he's been bugging us because he has like some of the most prized game worn jerseys across the 30 years of the Raptors.
What's the craziest piece you've seen from Kai?
Oh my God. Every time I pull up. Yesterday he showed me a set of Vince Carter charity game jerseys.
Oh,
which they wore during those games.
Game worn Vince Carter charity game?
All of his stuff is game worn.
Damn.
So we're gonna definitely
You're not getting the replicas from SCP like me?
We're gonna make a visit. We're gonna make a visit to him at some point.
No Fanatics gear for him?
I want to film his collection.
Sure, yeah. You want to make Jerome film?
But you know what's funny though, because like I was flipping through his racks. It's like, oh my God, it's like
he got racks.
It's like an authentic Keon Clark. Like, that's an authentic Kevin Willis.
And then it was happy birthday, Kevin Willis. By the way, another purple plug with the Raptors.
Oh my God, man! Don't get me started on that. Actually, we will. Yeah, the Raptors on the weekend tweeted out, "Happy birthday, Kevin Willis." And listen, I was here for Kevin Willis, but what are we doing? What are we doing? We just going on Basketball Reference and just pulling random Raptors and wishing them happy birthday? Like, we're just gonna wish Kevin Willis happy birthday now. Okay? You better not forget about Derek Martin this year then.
Okay, hold on. For okay, old head. For us young heads, what's Kevin Willis's like modern comp? Like, is this like wishing like Amir Johnson a happy birthday? Like, what's
a little bit like that?
Is it like wishing Ed Davis a happy birthday?
Who was Amir Johnson's backup?
Ed Davis.
Okay, who was Ed Davis's backup? Yeah.
Pop Smith's a monster.
Okay, I gotta respect Willis. Like, yeah, okay. it's in that range.
It's in the Ed Davis level.
But I just saw that.
Happy birthday, Lefty.
I was like, what are we doing, man? Happy birthday, Kevin Willis.
See the most recent one, man? They had some rapper who I don't know who it was, man. I'm sorry, I'm not that up into.
Oh yeah, the Weeknd had a thing, and then
was it the Weeknd? It wasn't even the Weeknd.
No, and then one of the artists there showed up in like a Vince Carter jersey, right?
Right, and they posted that too.
All right,
I guess Raptors, man.
I guess those jerseys are coming, man. It sounds like it.
I mean, listen, just tell us, you know. Yeah. Just tell us at this point.
But anyway, I wanted to shout out Kai going through his racks, going through those prize jerseys, and then I flip, and you know what jersey I see?
What jersey you see?
My Sport vs. Media game worn that I gave to him.
Yo, I don't even know where mine went, so I apologize.
He needs yours.
I don't even know where it is. Bro.
Anyways, long story. The segment is only for Kai. We delivered the chain for him.
Nice.
So it's part of the collection now.
It's amazing.
I autographed it for him. You need to sign it too at some point.
I got you, bro.
So, just wanted to shout him out.
Wow.
And just wanted to see that. We should do some kind of Raptor show chain.
I guess
hello and welcome chain.
Hello. Yeah, I think a hello welcome chain would work because we're no longer on a Raptor show. Though, but we'll see what happens with the Raptor show as well. Yeah. But otherwise, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, wrap it up before I say any more.
We are off next week, episode wise.
We are not off next week. Next week, we will have an episode for you where people have been very receptive to our summer playlist. So we are going to have an episode chatting about our summer playlist, basically a little banter pod bonus.
Right. So it's not going to be basketball. It's going to be all music. And
apologize. Yeah.
No. No apologies, man. No apologies, man.
Sorry for turning my entire back to you guys today. I was having such a fun time with Will that I completely lost my mind in terms of where I was spatially.
They know what you look like. It's fine. You got a hat. You got some glasses, and you're Asian. So that's been the Hello and Welcome podcast presented by Betway. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week.